Today, everything we touch was manufactured using some welding process or was made on equipment that was welded. The skills of welding, cutting, and brazing are an essential part of metal fabrication. Metal fabrication is the building, shaping, and assembling of a product, equipment, or machine from raw metal stock. Metal fabrication can be done using rivets, bolts, welding, and so forth. A welded metal fabrication is primarily assembled using one or more of the following processes: welding, thermal cutting, or brazing. A weldment is an assembly in which its component parts are all joined by welding. In some cases, a welded fabricated part may require some post-weld finishing such as grinding, drilling, machining, or painting to complete the fabrication. Fabrication steps. The process of metal fabrication can be divided into several, often distinct steps. Layout: the process of drawing lines on the raw metal stock according to the parts drawings and specifications. Cutout: the process of removing all of the unwanted material around the laid out part, or sometimes just cutting material to the desired length. Some of the most common methods of cutting out the parts are flame cutting, plasma cutting, sawing, and punching. Assembling: the process of placing all the parts together in the correct location and orientation with each other. The parts may be held in place with small welds called tack welds or by some type of clamp. Welding: the process of permanently attaching the parts together to form the finished part. Finishing can be accomplished by any number of different processes such as grinding, polishing, drilling, machining. Not all metal fabrication includes all of the steps, and the difficulty of each step varies with the complexity of the fabrication. In addition, sometimes the order in which each step is done may change. For example, it may be necessary to wait until part of the assembly has been welded before laying out the location of an additional part, or a part may be trimmed to fit once other parts have been welded in place. Welding defined: most people think of welding as either a gas torch or electric arc welding process. They also think of it as just melting metal together. In the earlier history of welding, that was true, but welding is a lot more than that today. For example, welds can be made without an arc or flame with the induction welding (IW) process, without heat using the pressure welding (PW) process, or with an explosive using the explosion welding (EW) process. In fact, welding today is much more than the basics. It can be a very sophisticated process. Allowed. However, that is not possible. The higher the welding standard, the higher the cost to produce a weld to that standard. Therefore, we often say that a weld must be fit for service. Fit for service means that there is a reasonable expectation that the weld will never fail as long as the weldment is used as it was designed to be used. So the quality of welding required for weldments differs depending on the intended service of the weldment. For example, a weld that is made on a high-pressure oil refinery vessel must be of an extremely high quality. A weld failure on such a vessel would be catastrophic, causing great property damage and possible loss of life. However, if a weld made on a driveway gate fails, it might be inconvenient but not likely to cause a significant loss of life like a high-pressure vessel failing.